this a team that you are familiar with that's ready to win ball games and not just do videos?
Look, I think that Colorado is primed for a massive season. I think that their schedule sets up perfectly for them. They get their hardest games at home. Their hardest road game is at UCF or maybe in Kansas City when they play Kansas because they're renovating the stadium in Lawrence. A lot of this is speculation, but I'm never going to think that they're going to be terrible, especially with the people they have returning and the people they've surrounded those people with. All the off-season stuff, just because I don't like the fashion show stuff doesn't mean anything. Go do your thing. If you're going to do it, don't do it in week 3. Do it in the off-season. So at least they did it in the off-season. They seem to be working their asses off. They've got Marines up there running groups and shit. I'm with that. I don't know what the news is today. I've learned in the last year to react rather than speculate with this situation, because if you try and get in front of what Coach Prime's doing, you're going to be in the back looking and what the fuck just happened? The house thing is awesome. I mean, the fact that a college player can buy his father a $7 million mansion. I know where that house is in Boulder, and it is wow. You want to talk about a nice area. I mean, I hope they have fire insurance, but other than that, I hope it's unbelievable. So, it's the fact that Shador and Shiloh and the rest of the family, all Darius and all the kids can buy their father a $7 million mansion. And then I love we're about to go to the league and everyone's about to leave and we need to make sure he's good. We forget that Prime's, 60 years old and he's going to be a grandpa one day here soon. Travis Hunter getting married, I would say, look, congratulations, bro, but you just got in the line to lose half of your shit and you're not even 21 years old yet. So I personally, if my son walked up to me and said he's getting married in college, I would slap him until he was purple and be like, "Are you out of your mind? What's wrong with you, dog?" But he's not my kid, so
Well, let me put another perspective. I'm trying to stay like Gen whatever Z whatever fuck y'all call it. I'm trying to stay that way right now. Okay, I'm gonna turn over a new leaf for today's show.
Shut the fuck
up. I guess what we're all saying, and retrospectively speaking here, we have to be good nowadays in this current landscape of a bunch of different shit, Matt. NIL, transfer portal, paying guys, giving them Lamborghinis, buying them hamburgers, getting suspended. We don't know what's happening. We don't know what to do, how to do it. Something's going to happen. We thought a burger was okay, but a Lambo's fine. A burger's not. We don't know, right? So
it is what violations for being at games you're not even at.
Yeah, you're getting violations for being on the couch, Chicago backhanded and shit, and you're getting caught up by the NCAA. So we don't know what's going on. So I guess my roundabout point is this, and Smitty and Matt, I think you're going to agree on this. We have to be the new generation of coach that figures out the landscape, adapt or die. We always been doing that, but now we have to say, how do we adapt or die? And on top of that, allow for an absolute shit show to Matt and I, at least. Big Smitty's probably this is normal. To Matt and I is like guy missing a meeting, going to walk a fucking walkway in Paris, and then comes back, buys her dad a house, then everything's filmed, and then we get fucking married. And then it's all this outside noise that we got to deal with. And then still the guy that can win dealing with all that is the new age guy, I guess.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And you laugh and stuff, but that's what it is. Adapt or die. It is what it is. Can you deal with all the bullshit and still win?
That's way up there.
You better adapt or die. You better. But at the same time, I think this kind of shit is happening a lot of places, with the exception of buying their dad a house, because not everybody plays for their father.
Right.
But I think this kind of shit happens a lot of places, bro. It just, the national media's eye is still fixated on Boulder and Deion. So whatever he does, whatever he says, it's going to blow up. And it should. I'm not saying it shouldn't. I mean, He's a fucking superstar. So his kids are superstars. I mean, Shador, for his, going back and watching some of those games and like not being a fan, because it's hard. I'm not a fan of anything other than Colorado.
Right.
Like, I don't give a Tiffany fuck who wins in the NFL. I don't care. If the Jets win, I guess I'd root hard, but what are we talking about? So, like, I don't really care. I'm glad the Nuggets won last year for the first time ever. Like, that was cool growing up here and seeing them win a title. I've never played basketball. I guess I'm a fan of that, but I don't die hard. I'm not like, I don't watch every second of every game. I know what I'm talking about, but I'm not like, I don't have season tickets. So the only thing I really care about from a fan perspective, the only thing that actually ruins my day is bad football in Boulder. And last year, as dominant as Travis Hunter was and as good as Shador was, under fire constantly. And the people that they've gone out and then fortified around them, I understand that college free agency is still up in the air to see if it works. The whole Caleb Williams thing in Oklahoma and moving him and Mario Williams and all those cats. It worked for a year, and then they went 7-5. So, last year in Boulder, they had a chance to win, I think, 6 or 7 games, and they ended up winning 4. So I think that there's a bright future here. I'm very eager to see who they're going to hire. I mean, at some point, you need coaches on staff that are going to be, around your guys and coaching your guys and meeting with your guys and recruiting and doing all of that shit. I'm not concerned about it because I'm not going to sit here and speculate like I know what's going on. The announcement at 10 a.m. today, we'll see what that is. But
Matt, I've heard this conversation, Matt. I've been the coach. I've been the assistant coach that had to play the role and be the subordinate, understand protocol. I get that. That's how coaches used to be anyway. Protect the head coach. That's our fucking number one job as an assistant coach. Protect the head coach, the man that gave you the job. So I've heard these conversations. I want you to hear this conversation if you haven't already. But it's kind of telling me there. So we'll talk about it after. Listen to this.
Hold each other accountable, man, because that's what I'm going to do to you, all right? And if you want something, you need something, let me know. I'll be in my office. If you want to watch some film, but you got to let me know because I'm going to be busy these next couple of days with the coordinator situation, all right? All right?
Y'all what you say?
Y'all too. Ooh. Right. Gonna be exciting. It's gonna be exciting. Gonna be somebody gonna let you guys play. Somebody come in and let you guys play. You ain't got that long, man. A lot of guys not here that long. You here to accomplish your goal. First of all, you got to put the team before I.
He basically saying, like, stay focused. I know you want a coordinator. I know you want to start installing defense, but we don't have that guy yet. I guess there's 2-part questions, Matt, to you that's right there in the backyard of Boulder. Why don't they have a guy yet, A? And B, do you see that as a cover-up right now, trying to keep everybody in line until they get coaches?
I don't have an answer on why they don't have a defensive coordinator yet. I mean, it's been a while, at least a month, right?
Unprecedented, really. It's unprecedented in this day, right? It's unprecedented, right? Because spring ball's getting prepped early.
You have a coach lined up within. If you're losing
Christmas match should be Christmas,
right? So I just because they're doing it differently doesn't mean it's wrong, but I don't know, man. I mean, maybe it's a flashy hire and somebody that I don't know. Name recognition with defensive coordinators is tough for me unless it's Mike Zimmer or they're going into like the old man basket and pulling out some guy that has been retired. Like, what young cat did they bring out of nowhere to like?
Let me. Rumor that I've heard. A few people that you know have heard. Mike Zimmer.
Time out. What was that little side joke between you two bitches? What was that?
He fucking said Pete Carroll. I said, get the fuck out of here.
Get out of here.
Watch that bitch word, man. Go, JB.
Here's the thing I gotta say. I've heard Mike Zimmer is one of the guys because he has to wait on him because if he turns down the Cowboys, then that is who it may be. I know he's been a consultant up there with Deion. I know Deion looks to him in a high regard. But here's my caveat to that, or counter to that. When you wait on a big name, I've never seen waiting on a big name work. I have never seen it at the college level because I believe that you put too much power in that particular person's hands as an assistant. At the end of the day, he's still an assistant coach, even though he may be older than you. He may have a better resume than you. He's still an assistant. And you got to be able to let everybody there in that program know he is my assistant at the end of the day, as much as I respect him or whatever. But like waiting on him, I believe I would never do it. I couldn't do it because I need to have a guy in place already in winter conditioning in the weight room. That is a huge thing, Big Matt. You know, like having the DC's voice around the kids every day is a huge thing. And now you've basically lost 2 months in that process. So hope it works out. I do, but I just see it a bad start to a staff that needs to be put into place really, really quickly. It doesn't really hurt him recruiting, but it hurts him on the field. And as far as we get into winter conditioning, skills and drills, and then install and all this old shit. So I'm interested to see how it works out.
Me too. I mean, it needs to get done. But at the same time, you know, they're just running and lifting right now. So it's not as if they're installing anything. But from a recruiting standpoint and just a stability standpoint, it would definitely be nice to have a guy, you know, in the office that they can go start. It's nice having a coach where you can walk in and sit down and just talk. And talk shop and figure out what you're going to do, especially with all these new players and, you know, everybody trying to essentially rally around Shiloh, Trevor Woods, and Travis Hunter. Like those are the three returners. I think Woods is back. Those are the three returners in Boulder that, you know, the Bentley kid last year was exceptional. The linebacker, he played his ass off. They got, you know, the Cooks kid coming back at 3 technique, who I'm not saying he can't play, but he needs to pick it up. They did go out and get 4 or 5 defensive linemen because we were getting gashed. So it's interesting. That's for damn sure. I'll tell you, man, Coach Prime knows how to fucking fiddle that media, baby. I mean, he is one media fiddling sumbitch. I am impressed. I've never seen anybody do it like this before, ever.
Here's the thing. Well, because it's never been this prevalent. This is where they make a lot of money.
Still, I've never seen anybody in the social media era, the cell phone era, ever, like just play the media and the public the way that he does. And it's with a smile on his face, too, like it's just coordinated.
Here's the difference I have, though. Here's the thing I have.
Oh, shit, dog. Swag.
Hiring a guy.
Black new guy.
Like you hire a D coordinator, Matt. First of all, you hire the D coordinator. You bring him in the office. He immediately has to know what my head coaching expectations are, A, privately. Then B, get with the assistants on the defense, and he has to legitimately
on the bike,
create a structure and a culture within that side of the ball with his staff. Because how many times have we inherited a staff and then in 2 months and we're like, hey, coach, Prime, this motherfucker ain't bought into my system. He ain't buying into me. My linebacker coach ain't buying in. He fighting my drills. He's telling players shit that I'm like, whoa. How many? There's not a lot of room for error, I guess, is my point.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because let's look at what happened last year. And I'm not, for all the Colorado fanboys out there, for all the Coach Prime fanboys out there, it's not really Colorado fans. It's Coach Prime fans that have adopted Colorado because this is where he coaches. I'm not talking shit. I'm evaluating what happened. When you're in the middle of the season and you change offensive coordinators from a guy who was a head coach, and then that coordinator leaves and you lose your defensive coordinator to an assistant job, not a coordinator job. He takes a demotion to leave. The other coach takes a promotion to leave, but he did get demoted last year in the middle of the season, which is embarrassing. Well, I don't know if that's coincidence that we're struggling finding coordinators. I'm just saying, like I'm
what
not
do you mean?
talking shit. I'm saying maybe coaches, because I talked to tons of them. I've got Beaton Ball on tomorrow morning for the great offensive line coach at Oklahoma. He's on my show tomorrow. I'm going to talk to Weddle about this today. I know you guys talked to him today. He's on my show afterwards. I'm going to talk to him about it. Going in the Hall of Fame last night. Get him wed. Get him beard. Like I think that there's a large contingent of coaches in this business who are tired of the business. Number one, are really fed up with college coaching and recruiting, and like reading that clip from the anonymous coach the other day where I got in a plane and ate breakfast on the East Coast to see one kid, and I was in the Midwest to see another kid at noon eating lunch, and I was on the West Coast at 8 p.m. visiting another kid, and I went across the country and I only saw 3 kids in the era we live in. That's ridiculous. We're wasting gas, we're wasting money, we're wasting time. And I'm like, that is the realest shit I've ever heard. Like the way that they recruit is 1985 with VHS tapes. The way that the world runs now is not 1985 with VHS tapes. Like everything else has become easy. Why hasn't recruiting followed these steps? So I'm just saying where there's a little bit of lack of chemistry here with the recruiting world, there's opportunity. So I'm trying to take advantage of that and figure out how we can build some of those bridges. But at the same time, when you've got all these coaches that don't want to do it anymore because of how you have to, for example, this big son bitch that just walked in, he just walked to the bike, 14-year-old to-be freshman. Well, he signed up yesterday. Essentially, if I was a college coach, he would have to walk back in today, and I would have to do the same exact thing I did yesterday to get him to sign up again today to do the session. Like yesterday didn't happen. So the coaches are tired of this shit. They don't like it. They don't like they have to recruit consistently, and they have to like Chicago backhand everybody to get them to stay and everything. Please stay and play with me. Like, I mean, come on, dog. So I think that there may be behind closed doors, coaches that are like, well, how long is Coach Prime going to be there? Is this a 1-year stop like the 2 coordinators that were there last year? I guarantee you they got on the phone with Coach Kelly and maybe even Coach Lewis and started talking about, the ups and downs and what it brings. So some coaches don't like the media, the media frenzy that comes with Coach Prime. Smart. I'm telling you, if you're a smart, young, good football coach, look what happened to a guy who got demoted last year in the middle of the season. He's now he got a really good job. San Diego State's a damn good job. It's better than fucking Kent State. That's for damn sure. So, like, let's just be real. Even though Coach Lewis got demoted and didn't do a very good job, or whatever you want to throw into that, why it happened, he's now the head coach of San Diego State after 1 year. So let's not act like Coach Prime and all that shine and everything that came with it didn't have something to do with that. So I'm just saying, man, there's a lot that goes into this, and I'm not going to sit here and act like taking your time is a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes, especially in the frenzied world we live in, where it's getting where you fit in, sometimes it's better to be Eli Manning and the Mannings and say, I ain't playing for the Chargers. Sometimes it's better to be Elway and be like, I ain't playing for Irsay and the Colts. Like sometimes you got to make the hard decision. That was way back in the day, child.
I know what it was.
You were an itch in your daddy's pants.
And I'm 30. I'm a grown ass man now.
Yeah,
I'm 30 now.
But goddamn, bro, you're still watching cartoons and shit. It's 30 ain't good. All right, so all I'm saying is there's a lot going on here, and I don't know the answer to all this shit, man. We'll see. I'm gonna react just like you did. So, I'm telling you, the college football coaches, players, just football in general, I don't know if I could agree with somebody more than when you hear adapt or die. Like I'm telling you, it's super cutthroat. Coaches and players involved. There's less opportunity than there's ever been, but they give you the illusion there's more opportunity, but there's less. And, the guys who refuse to do the work, that refuse to get out of bed, that refuse to, and this goes for coaches too, that refuse to hit the recruiting road, that refuse to do the dirty work, that want to go home and like cuddle up and sit on the sofa and shit. So those guys are going to be on the fucking sofa watching somebody else coach or watching someone else play moving forward. all three of us have experienced this. Coach JB more than anyone because he coached.
Right.
Every one of us has experienced the fuckboy that doesn't want to be at practice, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's coaches like that too, dog. There's actually grown men that get paid to coach football. Listen to what I'm saying. Paid to coach football, which is not a job. It's a fucking luxury. Like, it's hard and it's intense, and maybe the money isn't good all the time, but you're coaching a fucking game. Like, it's what a beautiful thing to do, right? There's coach knows this. There's coaches that sit there before practice like, I don't want to go out today. Ho, ho, hum. Like, well, take your depressed motherfucking ass and get out of here then. Like, all the players that I've ever been around, professional athletes that get paid millions of dollars that sit in the fucking locker room before practices, like, are depressed that they have to go practice.